bit of a soul, Big Terminal here from Soul Healing Tribe. And today I want to talk to you about the etheric body. I think we spent a lot of time talking about the astral bodies in previous videos in the last couple of years. So today I want to really focus on the etheric body and the importance of this body when we're going through spiritual awakening. And some of the things that you could be paying attention to so that you can start or develop within your spiritual awakening journey very consciously and intentionally. So I have some notes here. Let me just start with the fact that the etheric body is almost like a vision, like imagine encapsulating all the memories of our ancestors, of the planet, of the galaxy, the constellation, the universe, ourselves, into the etheric body. So it's compacted into the etheric body and holds all the memories of everything that we have been and everything that has been through the history of planet Gaia, all the different planets, the constellation, the galaxy, the universe, everything that you can think of can be encapsulated almost like memory drive, but it's distributed obviously through the entire etheric body. After the physical body, we have the etheric body where the prana energy, that life force, the chi, the ki, the mana is really processed throughout the entire 24 hours, every single day that we are alive, right? So this energy that holds the pranic force within us also has the codes to have access to all the memories of who we've been and the history of our existence. Now, the thing is that normally we don't have access to that until we start a very deep spiritual journey. So if you are just starting your journey, it's going to be harder for you to have access to some of this information because a lot of the things that you're going to receive isn't going to make sense. It's going to be like random things. So in order for you to really unlock a lot of that, you have to go through such an advanced spiritual journey that almost takes over who you are. It's almost like an urge, like you're hunting, seeking for answers because your codes are opening up and your memory is awakening and you know there is more and more and more and more. And you have to keep looking because the etheric energy, the codes in there are kind of almost like blossoming like a flower. So you keep looking because you know there is more there. Like you can feel it, it's within you, which is different when somebody's going through a spiritual journey and they go so far and they feel like complete. They feel like, okay, that's all that I needed. But somebody else that is really going deep, deep, deep is going to feel that urge that is going to take over their whole life. And life is not going to be the same ever again. So as we go through the spiritual journey, this intense awakening of wanting to know who we are, studying who we are, really going deep. You know, the thing is that at the beginning of the spiritual journey, we normally start this journey because we are in pain or we want to save someone that we love that is in pain. But as you go deeper and deeper and deeper, you realize, oh my God, I was doing this. This is actually happening for me. This is not happening for somebody else. At the end of the day, this really happened for me. So I start trying to discover at a deep, deep, deep level, who am I? Who am I in this body? And who am I beyond this body, which is different than just believing that this is the only thing, that this is the only reality. So it's almost like expanding your consciousness to a level that you probably didn't think was possible before. So it's very deep. As we go through this transformation, we go from victim to, oh, wait a minute, I actually also hurt people. Even when I didn't think I was hurting them, you start noticing how you hurt others. Sometimes even our children, how we hurt them because we were so wounded that we didn't know any better. So you start noticing, oh my God, this happened to me, but guess what? I also did X, Y, and Z to my sister, my brother, my aunt, my mother, my grandparents, the neighbors, the school, friends, the teachers. Maybe in 8th grade, you took something that didn't belong to you, or maybe you said something mean that probably really affected that person, or you have that memory. And even though it doesn't seem that is that important. You know something is there because it keeps coming up. And the reason why it keeps coming up because something important happened in the moment. So you start going through this realization, oh my God. And then at one point you feel like guilty. You might feel shame. You might, not because you're the victim, but also because you were the person persecuting somebody else. You feel like maybe you were evil at one point, or maybe you start having past lives that are like, what the heck happened? Why did I do that? Or why did this happen to me? That's all of your memories coming online. And sometimes it feels so much because it is so different than the person that we thought that we were. So our filters of this reality of who I thought I was is coming off. And when it's coming off, it sucks sometimes because we want to believe that we are good people. But when we start really seeing that we haven't been that perfect, it's almost like, wow, I know who I thought that I was. And you have to start accepting that you also made mistakes. You have to start accepting that maybe you're not always right the way that you think that you are. So the lenses start coming off. And that is crucial for the healing journey, because we cannot get to real awakening until we go through the process of also seeing how we hurt others, because it's almost like doing a life review while you're still alive. Instead of waiting for you to die and do it later and then getting stuck, you're doing it now because it's time for you to awaken. So if you're listening to this, definitely pay attention, because this is very, very important as we go through the spiritual awakening, to realize that we have been beaten, yes, and we have to accept that, and we have to work with that. And we also have to work with the parts that hurt others, that betray others, that say mean things to others, even though we didn't want to, or maybe we wanted to. The part that maybe did something that was disgusting, the part that maybe stole something, the part that say the wrong things, the part in all of those parts. So as you go through this process, you start waking up those versions of you that also needs integration. This is what some people might call shadow work. And of course, it's hard to get to those shadow work sometimes because we have shadow entities, or we have spirit attachments, or we have things like ETs that are really preventing us from seeing clearly, so that it takes so much work to get rid of those junks before you start doing a deep dive in your spirit, in your healing journey, in order for you to go deeper and deeper and deeper each and every time. So it is a process. It's not an overnight situation. And as we go through that process, right, we are able then to unlearn things that we thought we were, unlearn the behaviors and the beliefs and release them, so that we can awaken the real part of us that is waiting to come out. So this transformation we experience within us sometimes takes time to be expressed. So what happens sometimes with some of my clients that I notice is that they're doing so much work, but it's almost like the universe has to catch up with everything that they've been doing, because for a long time they didn't do enough. And then when they start doing this work, it's so much inside, they start feeling shifts. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time to catch up with those things that they're working, because it's so much. It's this contracting and releasing identities that sometimes it takes time to integrate the new one that is coming in. So somebody that has the ability to see, like like the psychic ability, we can see the progress that these people are making, or that your friends are making, family members, that other people are making, and you see the progress and you're like, wow, I cannot believe who they're becoming. But the person doesn't believe that, because they cannot see that yet, they cannot feel it yet, they're still in the process of integration. So it's a slower process than when we can see energy with our psychic abilities with our third eye. So what they can feel inside sometimes is taking time to be expressed outwardly. And sometimes, even though they feel the chief, is still like almost like, okay, is it? And then eventually one day it's like, okay, yes, I am. And that's when they start noticing that their energy is shifting. They feel lighter, more clear, more expansive and whole. That is key for the spiritual awakening journey, because when we go through those changes, we then experience this next part, which is key. So this transformation is going to lead us to experiencing the changes inside and outside, right? But the thing is that when the person that has the psychic abilities to see, they're going to experience your energy, your light bodies, your etheric body, astral bodies, and other bodies in a way that if they have the psychic vision, they can also see those parts very clearly. So they're not going to just see the energy, but they're going to be able to see like a picture of a human aspect or an energy being aspect of who you are in the different levels, not just in the physical, but in the etheric, astral, and so on. So you might see somebody that has the power to move and do things with fire, or a shaman or medicine woman or medicine man, or very green being, because you might be seeing the different light bodies of them, and because they have so much energy within them, they can give form to those parts much better than before. I hope that makes sense. So as we go through these changes, also our imagination, like a lot of people are like, am I making this up? And there is so much doubt and confusion and, oh my goodness, maybe I'm going crazy. No, the thing is that when we go through this process, our imagination, the physical body, starts to allow to compile and activate an imagination process of wakening the third eye, that you really get images and pictures and ideas and inspirations, and it's almost like unreal, because it's like, what did I just see that coming through? And it's like, yes, believe it, honor it. Maybe you need to journal, because the thing is that sometimes the answer about what that means is not going to come immediately, because maybe it's just a part of the puzzle, but you don't have the whole story yet. But the imagination, the images, the pictures, the things that you're going to hear are going to amplify as you go through this process, right? So you have to journal, because 3 years later, when you get the full answer, you're going to want to remember exactly what you said and how you said it. And it's going to be a clue for something important later on. So journaling is probably one of the best things that you can do as you go through this process of spiritual awakening, whether it is your visions, meditations, dreams, even when you're doing psychedelics or sacred plant medicine journeys. You want to journal so that later on you have the different pieces of the puzzle. As we go through this process of spiritual awakening, another thing that a lot of people say all the time is like, all of these pictures don't make any sense. It's not going to make sense, especially if it's just the beginning. And also, depending when you're seeing these pictures, is it in your dreams, or is it in your meditations at the beginning, at the middle, or at the end? And they have meaning. There is meaning why some of these pictures come in those different stages. Also, another key, very important thing is that as we go through this spiritual awakening, we are basically, the astral body is almost like a representation of where you are within your journey, in your spiritual journey, and where you are within that journey in the astral planes and beyond that. So the amount of energy that you have when you're going through the spiritual awakening is going to influence the experiences that you have. A lot of the time we start, if you're supposed to go deep into this journey, a lot of the people that are supposed to go deep into this journey, they may start having issues or dreams or experiences where they feel like they're going through a lot of entity releasement, or maybe they're getting attacked a lot by malevolent forces. That sometimes to me is a clear indication that these people have a lot of energy, that they have a lot of consciousness, and that they basically are going to end up doing some type of healing for somebody down the line. Because normally those people that experience that level, and that they are aware and conscious that it is happening, is because they have so much light within them that they can experience what it means when they're in those dreams or experiences, and that they can feel it and bring it consciously into the physical to remember. A lot of the people get attacked and they go through experiences like that, but they don't remember. So if you remember, it's probably because there is something there very significant about what your journey is going to be down the line. So I hope that makes sense. So depending on the level of consciousness, we can basically interact with different beings in different dimensions, and especially those that are in the very, very high dimensions, right? So not just in the astral body, because that, that I talked a lot about the astral plane, so I'm not going to get into that, but I hope you understand what I'm saying. So the etheric body basically has those codes to be able to experience the history, the memories of this planet and other planets throughout the entire universe. So as we hold those memories, those codes of past lives, ancient memories of our ancestors, recent ancestors, people throughout just the entire planet, not just our ancestor, but everyone and everything in between, the collective consciousness and unconsciousness. We have access to absolutely everything. So as we go through this experience, sometimes we think, oh, those are just myths. But the more you start waking up, you're like, holy crap, that is not a myth. This is real. This really happened. And I cannot believe that I thought that it was just fake, that it was just a story. Etheric bodies, it's almost like telling us a story of where we come from, who we are, why are we here. And the more that you go through spiritual awakening, the etheric body is feeding you that information. Now, it is in the astral body that we have the ability to go and do the time travel, the astral projection, blah, 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 blah. But the etheric body has the memories. So everything that we experience, not only from today, yesterday, and so on, it is being stored. And as the astral body goes into the dream, it can start making sense out of the experience. So the astral body that has the feelings to feel, which is so crucial, and maybe I should do another video on the astral body, but anyways, it's going to feel everything that we have been experiencing. Now, if you have the more time you spend on the spiritual awakening and contemplating and reflecting and doing so, you're going to be able to wake up older memories. So you're going to have access to the past life, ancestral memories, the planet's memories, past civilizations, other planets, other galaxies, and so on. So you're going to have visions and thoughts and dreams and clairaudience and so many different experiences that are being fed to you by your different light bodies and spirit teams and so on. So the astral body basically expresses parts of our value within the cosmos. It's almost like a representation of who you are based on where and what type of access you have and how fast as you go through spiritual awakening. Is okay. All I'm going to say is that the astral body has the ability to show us who we are based on the memories that we are awakening, because everybody has a different consciousness. Everybody's going to have different maybe timelines that they tap into. Depending on the information that you receive in your dreams, the experiences, the visions, the meditations, the psychedelics, whatever you're doing, contemplation, reflection, prayer, whatever you're doing, Reiki is going to reveal to you timelines, the potential history, versions of that history, versions of the truth, and so on. The more you realize why are we here and why it's so important for us to contribute to the spiritual awakening of this planet at this moment, right now, and blah, 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 you continue to go up, and you are then able to communicate and have access to beings that are extremely advanced. The more access you have to older and older and older, and some of the myths of some of these ancient civilizations and the history of our planet, the more that is almost like confirming to you that you are in the right place. So instead of thinking, oh my God, I am crazy now, I'm going crazy, we need to start thinking, okay, why is this happening? Why is it teaching me? What is it that I need to understand? What am I supposed to do with this? And you need integration. If you're doing this by yourself, you need a group of people. That's why I started with Awakening the Healer, because we need to support each other. You need to find your tribe. You need to find a group where you can communicate, when you can clear your thoughts. As long as we're here, there is always something to learn. One thing is going to lead you to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. So I hope that was helpful. I'm not sure why I had to go take so much time there, but anyway, so the spiritual pictures that we see, like when we are starting this process and we are new, it's going to be gray, it's not going to be clear, it's going to make no sense. It's going to be random. You're not going to have any feelings attached to those things. You're going to be like, okay, what is going on? As you advance a little more, you know, for like regular people, right? Like regular people, they might see these pictures and they're going to be like, okay, that's just nothing. That was just nonsense. Someone that is starting, they're going to be like a little curious about it, even though they cannot make sense. As you advance, you're going to be able to really capture more of the value of what those pictures are trying to tell you, even if it's just 1 second picture, or even if it's 30 pictures. You're going to be able to put 2 and 2 together as you go through this process and you heal. Because the thing is that why is the healing so important is because the healing blocks access for the energy to move up and down through the meridians and the nadis and the chakras. So if you have energy that is blocking the different chakras, you're not going to be able to put 2 and 2 together. You're going to be able to capture some, but things are not going to be 100% clear. And later on, when you start the healing journey, the longer you prolong it, the more you're going to be upset later, because later on you're going to be like, wow, I wish I knew that before. Because it can save you a lot of time. All of these things have meaning, but you have to, you know, if it's just making you insane, like, oh my God, I don't even know, you know, put it to the side. You're not ready. You're not understanding why this is important, is what I'm saying. So until you start your healing journey and you start taking it seriously and you start understanding the value of why the healing is so crucial for the physical, etheric, and astral body, in order for you to have access to your higher bodies, then, you know, because without the higher aspects of who we are, we're going to be stuck in the matrix. We're going to, yes, we might have abilities, but we're not going to go nowhere. We're going to continue to come back. The feeling is crucial, because when we heal, we're going to be able to connect with our feelings in a way that we cannot. So I'm going to do another video on feelings, but for right now, I'm just going to leave it with that comment. We need to be able to identify the feelings, because when we don't have those feelings, that means that there is so much, like a cement block, basically in the area where you should be feeling that is really condensing and blocking a lot of the, we have like what, 72,000 meridians. So imagine a cinder block, how many meridians can it block? And if that energy is blocked, it cannot move through your body. So you're only getting parts of the stories, parts of the answers, until you start the healing process and you can really experience what it feels to feel a past life, what it feels to feel an image that comes through, and why it's important, why is it coming through, instead of just, you know, believing that it's nonsense. And even when it's nonsense, then we can say, oh no, that is nonsense and I don't need that right now. But we have an ability to instantly know something is wrong with that picture that is coming through, and it is something that I don't want. And that is more advanced, so I'm going to leave it there. So when we start the spiritual awakening journey and we go deep, 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 we have access to past lives. We can relive full past life from beginning to end, the main points, and we can feel, we can understand, we know how they affect us in this life. What did we do? Why is it still open, basically? And how to release it so that we can feel wholer here now. And if there are abilities there, we can welcome those abilities in a way that is very responsible. You know, that I'm going to leave that for another day. So as we go into this spiritual awakening, we're going to really tap into our intuition and other abilities instantly, in a way that we don't need hours and hours of meditations or contemplations or prayers, of rituals or medicine or psychedelics and so on. So definitely stay tuned, because I'm working on creating a dreams program. You guys know that I love dreams. You guys know that I've been fascinated by dreams for basically most of my life. Program is going to be different than the Awakening the Healer and the Become a Healer program, because it's going to be something that is just for dreams. I'll see you all on the next one. Thank you so much for being here.